Thank you for joining us today. We are here to just
really tweaked our interest was, as Rory said, we saw this people revolution, and we said, how can we help and how can we accelerate that people revolution? And a digital platform seemed like a no-brainer at the time.
I'm incredibly glad you did, Charlie, because before I was introduced to you by a mutual connection, we had all those issues with scaling our program, and we had to purposely be quite secretive about what we were doing, which goes against everything we were trying to do to have as many people as possible. And we'd got to a point where in 18 months of running our program, we'd set up 120 relationships, and we had to have very strict induction dates and cohorts to make sure we could manage that. Since we've had the platform, in the last 4 months now, we've added another 260 relationships. We've been able to be completely open about what we're doing, and we get about 30 new members a week, and it's all because we've got this scalability of having an automation tool like the platform that exists in.
Can I add something to that?
Of course, Andrea, go for it.
As someone who's recently enrolled on the program, it is incredibly easy, both as a mentor or a mentee, to actually connect with someone. So you've asked if and said, look, all these people have enrolled, so I've gone and found someone that I thought I could help. But equally, by me having my profile there, I have also been approached and taken on a mentee who approached me. So it's a two-way process, and it's a really good way of actually doing it, whereas normally it is just a one-way process when you're in an organization and you're going, right, I need to find a mentor, and it's quite hard to find. And here it's a lot easier with profiles out there, and you can have a look to see how you can actually help people.
I think that's a great point, and I'll just add to that. I think it's not just about the efficiency of the tool and the functionality of the tool, as you allude to. I think for a mentoring relationship to be successful, it's got to get off to a positive start, and wherever the mentee has an ability to choose, make informed decisions, it enforces the ownership of the relationship, but also you just get off on the right foot. It's massively important. And I think a lot of conversations I've been party to where you talk about a platform, it gets sort of looked at in the context of efficiency, where actually it launches mentoring relationships to the optimum degree of success, in my view.
Yeah, and certainly, Richard, I agree with you. And the feedback that I've heard about the platform is that it really helps people to sit and think, actually, what do I want to get out of this relationship, so that they can be clearer about their own objectives as they go into that relationship.
Yeah, and I think, just to close out, what I've learned from it as well, it's not just the ability to select the right mentor, but at the right time. So there's no specific timing involved. It's at the right time for the mentee as well. It just kind of maximises that opportunity.
Yeah, that's made a real difference to us, that timeliness of it. It's as soon as the need arises, somebody can get involved in our program, which has been really good for us.
I think certainly the feedback that we've had from both mentees and mentors on the scheme has been just phenomenal. And the feedback that we've had really sort of focuses that it helps our female colleagues in tech and change to really own their role. And that's the kind of consistent theme that's coming through. But aside from the people who are taking part in the scheme directly, we've also seen sort of really positive employee engagement scores around the whole kind of diversity and engagement diversity and inclusion initiative. So, of course, as an organisation, we've got lots and lots of things happening in diversity and inclusion, and this is a really important part of that. But what we see is there is a kind of halo effect. So it's not only the people who are directly involved in the scheme that feel positive about it. It's the broader colleagues can feel, they view it positively, and so it gives them a warm feeling that they can see that the organisation is taking steps in the to try to increase their diversity in tech and change. So it kind of has that halo effect that just really helps to improve engagement scores across the piece.
Have you seen that in your organisation, Richard?
Yeah, I think it's the kind of thing that people start to talk about a little bit. And whilst we're in lockdown, I think things don't spread by word of mouth quite so quickly. But it was something very much that was the talk around the kind of proverbial coffee machine. And it just starts to engender a culture, which through other means of engagement is very difficult to engender. And I think as well. And I think an expectation around a mentoring culture and ability to be mentored is becoming increasingly an expectation. And ultimately, I think for an organisation, it could start to become a differentiator.
And that's one of the things that I would recommend, is that you have multiple mentors, that you don't just have one mentor, that you have them for different aspects of your life and your careers, so that you have what I call like a virtual board of governors, or whatever you like, that you can go to for different aspects, and I think that's also another beauty of the tool, is that you can find people who will work with you on your management things, or your confidence, or in different areas, that you can actually pull out and say, actually, that's something that I want to work on. I'm going to go and choose that person for a mentor. And it doesn't have to be for a whole year. It can be just, actually, it could be a one-off session that's enough to get people going.